Hello, crypto world. Welcome to the Chart Historian. My name is Justin, and on this channel, I delve deep into crypto charts, exploring chart structures, fractals, and patterns. So today I have the Bitcoin chart open, and man, what is going on with the Bitcoin chart? It's just kind of been going flat, range bound for the longest time. So if you're familiar with my previous videos on Bitcoin, you'll know that I have a theory, and that theory is that Bitcoin makes an initial peak at the peak, and from there it declines. After that, it does a retrace, and from that retrace, there are three waves or bounces to a capitulation point. Depending on the pattern, there's two different patterns that I believe Bitcoin produces in corrections. One is a pattern A, where it does a V bottom at the capitulation point. The other one is I call it pattern B, where it does a bounce at the capitulation point. They alternate. One correction will be a pattern A, the other one will be a pattern B. So this would make it a pattern B. So it has been my theory that Bitcoin is currently working on this wave, which I believe could potentially be wave 3. If that is the case, it will drop again to a capitulation point and do a bounce. And then after that, it'll move on to its recovery. Now, I want to argue a different theory, one that says Bitcoin has already potentially hit that bottom right here, that capitulation point. So to do that, I'm going to compare the Bitcoin chart to the XRP chart, which I know has already hit that capitulation point. So let's show the two side by side. Okay, well, this isn't quite side by side, it's one on top of each other. So on the upper one, I have the XRP chart, and on the lower one, I have the Bitcoin chart. So as you can see, I have placed these lines right here, and what they do is they align with the potential waves. So I told you that Bitcoin does an initial peak right here, and then it declines, and then it does three waves or three bounces to a capitulation point. So if you look at the XRP chart up here, XRP in this situation has a more traditional looking corrective structure where you have the initial peak being the highest, and then the ensuing waves or smaller peaks are lower than this initial peak. On Bitcoin, it's not quite like that. It's more of an unusual, I won't say pattern because it's still really the same structure playing out, but it's more an unusual occurrence of this pattern where you have the initial peak that is lower than the wave over here. So if you align these waves with the XRP chart up here, you can make an argument that here was the initial peak, here is wave 1, here is wave 2, and here is wave 3, and we are now working on that bounce. So if that is true, then this point down here was the capitulation point, and we may bounce. And so let me jump back over here in a minute, but we may bounce and potentially bounce again before moving up. So if this is true, which there is a argument that it is, because we know that XRP has already completed this capitulation fractal. So this is the bottom right here of XRP. So if you go by the XRP chart and say, has Bitcoin found its bottom? There is a good argument that this is what has happened. The Bitcoin chart has hit its bottom. This was wave 1, this was wave 2, and this was wave 3. Now this is a very unusual expression of the three bounces. Normally this one's the highest one of the three bounces, this one's the second highest, and this one is lower than both of these. This, where the middle one is higher, is really a first as far as expressing that three waves. Now let's jump back closer to here, and I have a fractal that I want to show you. Okay, so real quickly, this is the decline of 2013. It goes into 2014, and here is the bounce that took place. Here is the initial peak. Here is wave 1, wave 2, and wave 3. Here is that bounce right there that came at the end. So I'm going to grab this fractal right here and compare it. I'm also going to go back a little further, back into 2011, and compare this bounce that took place as well. And you'll see how this matches up and what it could mean. Okay, so here is that fractal overlaid on today's chart. This is from the 2013-14 decline, and this, I believe, took place in 2015. So as you can see, it has been roughly following this outline where it moves up here, it kind of makes a peak here, it has this little wave up, going down. And if this is true, then we should see maybe this move up a little bit more, come to a point right here, and then begin this fractal. Now, I want to bring your attention to there is a difference between this fractal right here and this fractal. So this fractal is a typical ending fractal that brings a decline to its final capitulation point. Let me show you the fractal from 2011 and compare it to this one right here. So here is the 2011 fractal. This is that bounce fractal that took place at the end of that pattern B decline. So as you can see, there are some similarities where it kind of goes up and then declines at an angle, then drops. So this fractal right here matches this one quite well. It does not match over here as good. And the reason is because this fractal is actually a bear fractal. This is an ending fractal, same with this one, to a decline. But this right here is not this. So what does that mean? That means that there is still a potential that this could develop and drop again, and this could be, in that case, that third bounce moving, and then after it drops, it'll move into the final capitulation bounce. Now, if it continues to go into this one, I would say that there is most likely a high probability that this is the bounce. So right now, for me, it's too early to say that this is indeed the bottom. I need a little more data on this chart when it comes to comparing fractals to say with confidence that this is indeed the bottom. If you take this fractal, let me do it right now. So if you take this fractal and put it over here, you'll see that it actually kind of matches up with this part of the chart right here, and that's because this is, like I said, a bear fractal. This could potentially deviate from this and do this. So that is why I proceed with caution here. I am not going to say we are indeed at the bottom, we are indeed experiencing the bounce just yet, because I want this to play out a little more. I want to see it get into this, where this right here is more the ending fractal to a decline. Well, that's it for now, folks. I hope you found this video interesting. You know, if you find this type of analysis interesting, you should hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be kept up to date when I put out new videos. I put out new videos on a regular basis. I like covering XRP, and I do cover Bitcoin analysis. I hit it from fractals, which is a different way of hitting technical analysis. And as this pattern develops, I will continue to post more videos on this. If you found this video helpful, please hit that thumbs up button. It means a lot to me. You know, I'm not a financial advisor, so none of this should be considered financial or investment advice. I'm so glad you caught this video. I hope you catch my next one. Have a great day, and bye for now.